Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to all the listeners on Inspire FM. You're listening to Ali on the Parenting Show. Today, inshallah, we have a very interesting show. Just waiting for my guest to turn up. But the topic today we want to talk about is something that's been around for a very, very long time. In fact, it's been around since I was a child, and that is the madrasa system. We all recall, all the fathers and mothers will recall, as soon as you finish school, this is how it used to work for me. Finish school, get home, have a wash, and then get picked up in a van, taken to the madrasa. You learn your Quran, and then you come home, do your school homework, and then you do whatever you need to do. So the question we are posing today to our listeners, the questions we will be posing to our guests, we have, I think we have two or three guests who actually, one Abdullah Hussein, who runs a madrasa. We have a teacher of the madrasa, and we also have a parent. So hopefully, when these guys are online, we can start talking to them. But it's a very important topic. A lot of people feel that is it out of date? Is it serving the purpose of what it should be doing? Very interesting topic. So just waiting for the guest to log on, and hopefully we should be cracking on. And I think we have one of the guests. Do we have someone live? Waksam. So we have Shani, you are a teacher, madrasa teacher. I'm just introducing everyone, all the listeners. Shazad, you are a parent, I believe, of some of your children who address the madrasa. Is Abdullah Hussein on? Abdullah Hussein, Mr. Hussein? No? So we've only got the teacher and the parent. Okay. So we've got Shazad on as a parent. His children attend the madrasa system or a madrasa. And Shani, you actually are a teacher at a madrasa in East Midlands somewhere, correct?
That's correct, yeah. And just to let you know, Mr. Hussain, he said he's running a bit late. He should be on in 5 minutes, hopefully.
He's just finishing off at the madrasa, I take it.
That's correct. He's seeing the kids out. So as soon as we've got the kids going, then he'll be on, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. A warm welcome to you both. Jazakallah khair for coming. I hope it's going to be a very fruitful discussion. So let's start straight away. Let's start with the teacher. Shani, I just want to ask you how do you find do you feel that whatever you are teaching is up to scratch? It's because when I was at madrasa, all I used to do was read Quran and come home and learn how to recite the Quran and come home. And in my day and age, it was criticized because all it did was teach children how to parrot fashion learn Quran, and that was it. What's changed, Shani?
Yeah, I think, when we took on this journey to help in the madrasa, start teaching in the madrasa, there's two main aspects. One, personally, from my own growing up here, I used to have a lot of, what if only I learned this, if only I learned this when I was younger, if only I'd come across this when I was younger, I would have been a lot more confident Muslim, I would have been a lot more content Muslim. So for me, I had that within me as growing up. And then me and Mr. Hussain, many years ago, we just had a discussion. And it was funny enough over an incident of a blocked toilet in the masjid, which one of the kids had blocked. So they'd gone into the toilet, done a bit of a prank, got the tissue paper, blocked the toilet, flushed it, flooding. And Mr. Hussain was pulling his hair out. And we had a discussion that actually, who's teaching these values, who's inculcating them, giving them a good nurturing. It has to be more than reading the Quran. Actually, we need to re-look at how we're teaching and what we're doing in terms of their building their personalities and directing them. So that's how it all started about. And there was a lot of tweaking and revamping of the Monday to Friday and what we go through during that Monday to Friday.
Sure. Okay, that's pretty interesting. I believe Mr. Hussein is he's with us now. No, still letting the kids out. Okay, not to worry. Shani, just very quickly, because I want to really start dealing with some stereotypes and dispelling some myths. You are from a ulama background?
I'm not from ulama background, no.
Oh, okay, good.
You could say I'm a regular guy. And
Okay.
one of the things that I just
So in other words, you have a day job.
I have a day job, Monday to Friday, leave at 5 to 5 and rush down to the masjid.
Okay, very good. So I think one of the criticisms that people have of the madrasas is that it just involves people who don't have experience or insight or foresight to some of the things that are happening out there in the real world. So given the fact that you hold a full-time job, which is, I take is not linked to mosque, imam, madrasa, Islamic school, anything like that, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so you must have some insight into the wider challenges that children are facing, wider issues that society is facing. So I think that will, for me, that would infuse confidence as a parent to say, okay, these guys are pretty savvy. Mr. Hussein, when he does come on, someone would like to give us. Mr. Hussein, have you joined us? And still not joined us. Okay, not to worry. Yes, so it's very interesting, Shani. Your background is not, if I can use the word, not from a background of clergy, ulama, scholarly, but rather you're just a regular guy who felt the need to set up a madrasa, or be part of the thinking or the journey, at least, to set up a madrasa.
I think what it was for me, Ali, was we've been to the schooling system here, grew up here, went to university here, went to the parks here, everything, and we've seen a spectrum of friends. Some who didn't make it in terms of they were sucked in and got caught up in the problems here. And a lot of them problems started young at an early age. When they were going to madrasa, and, the madrasa, in hindsight, could have facilitated them, helped them, get their life on track if they were able to connect with some of their struggles and their concerns and what they're exposed to. So I think that helps me a lot when I'm teaching the kids. I can relate and try to relate to what they're going through.
Okay, so this is a kind of a breath of fresh air, because you're coming from a completely different background, a different perspective, which means that you felt there was a need for these kind of things, as opposed to it was just the dumb thing to do. And it's obviously through your example, you've said that some of your friends went off the rails, and you felt there is a dire need for the children who are growing up now to have something in place. Are you then saying that you are offshoring the role of parents? How is it? How are you adding value to the upbringing of the children?
Yeah, and I think this is one discussion that myself and Mr. Hussein, we've had a lot of discussion about this in terms of where.
Sorry, Shani, I've lost you in your voice. Have you done something? Yeah. That's better.
Sorry, yeah, I think a call tried to come through and I cut it off. Yeah, okay. We realized actually we have to work together. The madrasa's got a role, the parents have got a role, uncles have got a role, aunties have got a role, friends have got a role, community has got a role, the masjids working together have got a role. Everyone's got a role to help raise and nurture these kids in the right direction.
Okay, and just very quickly before I go over to Shahzad for a few minutes, and then I'll come back to you. Are you the typical madrasa? And when I mean the typical, is it just the learning of Quran? And at my time it was Quran in Urdu. I believe it might be Quran in Arabic, but is that your curriculum?
So the day structure is still the same, 5 to 7. It's a 2-hour day, and it is Monday to Friday. Though there is a separate weekend madrasa that just does for weekend. But the structure is, in terms of the Quran journey and learning from Alif Ba all the way to everyone has to learn Juz Amma before they leave. That is a journey that's been adapted, but is essential. On top of that, there is a lot of Islamic studies. There's a lot of contemporary discussion of contemporary issues and challenges. There's a lot of discussion on tafsir, on understanding and relating to the Quran and the issues around us. So we have broken it down. You have to have the Quran. It's the bread and butter. It's what everyone wants, a closeness to the Quran. That's fair enough. But there's adding to it as well. And I think the other challenge is, when I was young, I don't know how it was, but about 12, 13, everyone would just leave. It's like secondary school takes over and that's it. Now we try to do it, okay, let's facilitate this all the way to 16, 17 and 18. And then we can keep having these discussions, adding to the discussions and the content as they get older.
Okay, brilliant. Shazad, are you still with us?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Assalamu alaikum, and a warm welcome to you tonight. Shazad, tell me about you're a parent whose children are in this madrasa. First question, why did you opt for madrasa?
I think it's just continuing your discussion, really. I think what really attracted me to the madrasa was the Islamic studies. I felt my kids were already learning Quran. They'd been to the madrasa, so they've got that side of it. But what attracted me to the madrasa was the Islamic studies.
Okay.
I felt actually they needed that side of it, and sort of taking on board the reality of the society we're living in, the challenges. Actually, how do we relate Islam to them, and how do we connect them to Islam? So, just that simple fact, it wasn't anything more than that. Hold on, they're teaching Islamic studies. They've got a bit of a base curriculum.
Yeah,
and that's what won it for me.
Okay, so let's explore this a little. And if the listeners want to give us a call, if you have a take on the madrasa system being outdated, or the madrasa system needs to be there as a fixed part of the furniture from here till whenever, from now till whenever, give us a call on 01582 481 822. If you're shy of talking, give us a text on 07779 481 822. Shazad, let me ask then, have you seen notable changes in your children because of this madrasa?
Definitely.
And I say that I say that in a measured way. I ask in a measured way. I don't expect the madrasa system for 2 hours when they've been spoken to by everyone during the day, but them 2 hours to make miraculous changes. But as a parent, what can you put your finger on to say, that was the madrasa that positively contributed to my children?
I think that sense of community and being part of something. I think they have an affinity to the madrasa. They feel they're part of something bigger than themselves, and they contribute. And for me, one was, yes, they'll study there, but I wanted them to go through the whole journey. And I see them invested in the madrasa. They see it as their sort of a role. They've got a part to play, and I think that's very important, because actually, it wasn't, like say when I was growing up, you did your 2 hours and you came home. I feel my kids have got more investment. They're more invested in their own learning, the other kids' learning, and actually how that madrasa can improve and develop.
Okay. Give me some more details when you say they've kind of the learning. What have they learned? Look, the typical thing is typical scenario we've heard all the time is child comes home from school, says, "Mom, Dad, I was taught today that we came from monkeys, for example. We came from apes, for example." Okay. Give me some examples as to what your children have come back and attributed to the madrasa.
I think is relating to a lot of these life issues. Simple things like the hijab. discussion around that. How does that fit in? And actually, in a society where it's not prevalent, or even how some of the other kids have viewed the hijab, it's opened up those discussions where we've come home, we've discussed those, and said, okay, why do you think that is? And I think it's those sort of, the day-to-day, even things like free mixing in that they see in society, and then you got a different outlook in the madrasa. Even things like social media, TikTok, Instagram, how's that affecting kids today? And or even very simple things like paying attention or
Sure.
doing your studies, being dedicated.
So the discipline side of things.
Yeah, the whole breadth of it, and actually seeing how you can help others along that way. And they'll come to me and say, "Oh, there was this issue that happened at the madrasa today," and okay, so what's your role in that? How do you see it? You're not a bystander. And I think those sort of day-to-day issues, they'll have issues. They've seen something on the news. They'll want to go discuss that. They'll want people's views on that.
Okay, brilliant. Coming back to Shani, teacher.
Yes.
Are you governed by any governing body? Are you like, for example, Islamic schools are governed by Ofsted, I believe. Are madrasas governed by any governing body?
No, they're not governed by anyone. They have to meet some sort of standards in terms of DBS, and you have to have some policies and procedures in place in terms of child safety, and that's the standard routine.
Okay, and of course, in the news we see many unfortunate realities about surrounding children, the safety and manipulation of children, which is another show for another day. But so if you're not governed by any legislative or guiding body like Ofsted, you can pretty much curriculum is down to yourself, correct?
That's right, yeah. So, I mean, we use this sort of off-the-shelf curriculum, you could say. So already written books go from year 1 to year 13, and we just cater it for the audience and the situation that's in front of us, whatever is going on. So we'll try to relate it to Palestine, we'll try to relate it to Andrew Tate, cost of living, friendships, boy and girl culture, social media. So though we used an off-the-shelf curriculum, we do actually what is he going through? What's this child? What they're going through? Or what will they be going through in the next year or so? What are the challenges they're going to face? How they go to school with a lot of non-Muslims. What do you do? Do I befriend them? Do I talk about UFC all the time? Do I help them? So we talk about all these issues within the context of a curriculum and the seerah and the ayahs of the Quran and lessons from hadith and various sources.
Hang on, Shani, did I hear this right? It's quite actually, I'm intrigued and I'm very interested. A madrasa talking about Andrew Tate.
Yeah, well, this is I'm really hoping for Mr. Hussain to jump on, because this is one of his ideas. We would do an assembly once every Friday, and it'd be rotating. So one month would be a contemporary. When it's a contemporary issue, what's going on in their world? IShowSpeed, Andrew Tate, World Cup.
I'm still trying to get to terms with this, Shani, and I'm saying it in a positive way, because I would never, in a million years, I've never known, I've never heard, and maybe there may well be more than just your madrasa out there in the country that addresses these issues, but I've never known madrasas to address these kind of issues. It's almost like you come in, I still, and forgive me, all the listeners out there, if I'm being very stereotypical, but I still have the image in my head when I went to madrasa. I go there, rock back and forth for 2 hours, learning Quran, and come home. And we weren't taught about. Excuse me. I wasn't taught about the popular culture in society. I wasn't told about the do's, the don'ts, the rights, the wrongs, the ifs and the buts and the maybes. I wasn't taught any of that. It was just a matter of getting that Quran under your belt. You finish the 30th juz, you hand out sweets, and you're almost like graduated. When you said you talk about Andrew Tate with the children, maybe this is something, is Mr. Hussein on? Yes, Mr. Hussein, are you on? Are you with us?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Mr. Hussein. A warm welcome. It's
you.
better late than never.
My apologies for being late to the audience and yourself.
No problem. Jazakallah khair for joining us, and I'm glad you joined us. Mr. Hussein, I want to maybe bring you into this discussion I'm having with one of your teachers. Is you are actually discussing Andrew Tate in a madrasa. How is that possible?
Look, I think initially we've got to look at our typical madrasas that our forefathers who started these madrasas, what was a typical madrasa, and then go into what is the need of society and our children today, right? I always give an analogy that our parents ate pakore, samosa, and prante, where our generation today, they eat fries, burgers, and pizzas. So we have to deliver Islam accordingly to today's needs, right?
Correct.
And like you were discussing, apologies, I only caught the last 3 minutes.
No problem.
You need now, today's needs are different, and today's society is different. So we have to cater for that. So,
and what you're saying then is that the discussion of misogyny, male domination, Andrew Tate, all that discussion, it is a need of the time, is what you're saying.
That is, in essence, a part of it. And the other part is, how do we, in my days, you asked one of our imams, and I'm not criticizing our elders or imams, they did the best according to their knowledge or vision, right?
Of course.
We have to sort of praise them for the legacy they left behind and built these masjids for us. So today we're comfortable to pass the knowledge. And the key thing, today, when you buy a property, estate agents always says, look at the location. Today's youngsters, it's about passing the baton of knowledge and knowledge. We're not here to create a robot. When I was at a madrasa, you ask one of the imams, probably from Pakistan or Bangladesh or India, prove to us there is Allah. Is the Quran a word of Allah? No, prove to us. You probably get a danda, right? A stick made out of plastic.
Yeah, I remember that.
Those days are gone. That is the time of the prante and the samosa. Today, you have to connect the Quran
to Kentucky.
The tafsir and the tadabbur of today's reality. Sure.
This is actually quite interesting. Coming back to Shani, you're a teacher, and also Mr. Hussein, it sounds like you're in a very unique position that your madrasa is doing something quite eye-opening.
By the way, sorry to butt in, it's not my madrasa. Without the team, there is no madrasa. So it's everybody's madrasa.
Okay, the madrasa, we'll address it as the madrasa. The madrasa seems to be doing a very good job, and from what I'm hearing, is dealing with real issues that children are seeing on their screens, on social media, on their Facebook reels, and what they see on their timelines. So you're very well connected, and soon we're coming up for a break. But I want to explore that, maybe to put in your head before we go for a break. What have you done to market this? And I just don't mean to shout loud and proud, but there are some challenges around marketing madrasas and why madrasa has this very closed, clandestine, dark, private kind of atmosphere around it. So maybe we will, inshallah, we'll explore that, and we want to talk more to Shazad about his children after the break, which is coming up in a few seconds.
This program will continue after the break. Continue listening to Inspire FM. Inspire FM.
Inspire 105.1 FM.
FM.
Hi, my name is Raíssa Cavanhaque. I'm from Brazil, and you're listening to Inspire FM. Ciao.
In the time it takes to hear this ad, there will be children in Gaza who will lose their parents. But there is hope. You can make the difference. Right now, MATW is providing emergency care for over 15,000 orphans in Gaza. But we need your help to reach more. Just £10 can provide nutritious meals, clean clothes and bedding, and medical care when needed. Don't turn away from Gaza's orphans. Text orphans to 70560 to donate £10 or visit matwproject.org.uk.
Landlords, let us take away the hassle of letting your property. Our comprehensive services include tenant vetting, rent collection and service charges, maintenance and repairs. Ideal Properties has 2 branches and have been established over 20 years and have gained a wealth of knowledge and experience.
If you are thinking of selling or letting your property, then speak to a member of our knowledgeable team about a free no-obligation market appraisal.
We can also offer guaranteed rental income.
Contact us on either Luton 721110 or 696050. Ideal Properties, service with a smile, whatever your needs.
Universal Clutches on Cosgrove Way in Luton offer more than just clutch repairs. We also now cover MOTs, servicing, brakes, suspension and vehicle recoveries. We've got you covered whether you drive a manual or semi-automatic car, van or truck. We aim to provide a quick and reliable service, and Universal Clutches are an AA and RAC approved garage. For a reliable service you can trust, call 01582 876 300 or find Universal Clutches on Google, Instagram and Facebook.
Looking for an unforgettable start to summer? Then join us for our spectacular Faith and Fields Eco Camping Festival for all the family. Set in the beautiful Willowbrook Farm in Oxfordshire. Enjoy many spiritually uplifting talks and reminders from renowned speakers including Yahya Burt, Dr. Miriam Francois and others. Activities including archery, African drumming, arts and crafts, a mega inflatable slide, and a nasheed concert with stars like Mecca Medina, Khalid Sadiq, and many others. Tickets are selling fast. Search ISB Faith and Fields to book now and use promo code INSPIRE for a special discount. Make your summer unforgettable.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Shaheen. Please keep tuned to Inspire FM 105.1 FM.
Need a ride? Village Taxis has you covered. Going to the airport, station, work, hospital or school? Call Village Taxis on Luton 250 for a quick, reliable service. New drivers wanted? Get registered today and join the Village Taxis team, serving Luton, Central Beds, TfL, Wolverhampton, Hertfordshire and beyond. Taxi rental also available. Download our easy-to-use Village Taxis app or call on 01582 250 250 to book your ride today. Village Taxis, your local taxi company.
Can you imagine losing your parents and seeing your home destroyed? Thousands of children in Gaza have lost one or both of their parents. Agorsh UK invites you to sponsor an orphan in Gaza and provide them with life-changing care, protection and hope. Let's help orphans to rebuild their lives. Donate your zakat and sadaqah for an orphan in Gaza today. £500 per year or £42 per month. Visit Agorsh UK.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 7:30.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Parenting Show. It's Ali hosting the Parenting Show on Inspire FM. We have a very esteemed panel today. We have a parent, we have a teacher, and we have one of the main organizers of a madrasa. The topic is about madrasas. Is the madrasa system outdated? I was very, it was quite an eye-opener. I was left with my mouth open when Shani, the teacher from the madrasa, told me that they discuss Andrew Tate, not because I'm bewildered with taken by Andrew Tate, but the fact that I've never heard of this. I've never heard a madrasa talk about real contemporary issues. It almost feels like a breath of fresh air that there is some institute out there from the community's perspective, preparing children for real challenges, real issues, and real discussions, as opposed to just teaching them Quran and then letting them navigate through life with whatever they hear and see on maybe their social media or so on and so forth. So one of the issues, coming back to Mr. Hussein and Shani, coming back to you guys, throughout my childhood and even later years, there was a lot of coverage by mainstream media about madrasa systems being backwards, being radicalizing children. Even, I mean, there's reports of how Islamic schools, forget madrasas, and these are governed by Ofsted, Islamic schools, they didn't have enough of a balance of LGBTQ education. I mean, do you shy away from these issues, or do you put them in perspective? How do you navigate these? Because this is another issue our children will face. And unfortunately, most of these hard, if you like, difficult, tough, challenging questions that our children have, they don't seem to be answered by the Muslim community institutions. They're almost like, at worst, it will create an us and them kind of attitude to say, oh, these people are like that, ignore them, don't worry, we are like almost given the chosen people kind of narrative. And that's the worst. And at best, you know, you might even find some institutions actually embracing some of these ideas which are different to Islam, which are foreign to Islam. Where the two of you, Shani and Mr. Hussein, when you were sitting and talking about setting this up, how did you navigate such questions or such topics, or what went through your thinking? Enlighten us.
Shall I go ahead, Shani, or do you want to answer that?
Go for it. I'll add on, inshallah.
I think Shani can give you a more precise answer, but mine is more broader in the sense that a madrasa, when you start, look, I think I'm no expert in education or madrasas. When I started this 7 years ago, it was a necessity from the community and the mosque. We didn't have a madrasa. So initially, what is the vision for the madrasa? What is the ethos of that madrasa? What are we trying to achieve? So when a child comes to you at the age of 5, what stages when he goes from an infant school to a junior school to when he's a teenager, what do we need to prepare him for? So a child, we're not there to produce robots. You know, Islamic education, it should give you creativity, it should give you confidence and Islamic character at the end of the day. So you should know your deen, the knowledge of it, and be very confident in society to challenge the narratives and the challenges we face today, whether it's drugs, alcohol, raising a family, taking responsibilities of the family, choosing your friends, right? That's what a madrasa should challenge. And then how do we connect that with those surahs or the Juzumma that we read from, say, Surah Naba to Nas, and initially to read it with the correct tajweed, and then the tafsir of those surahs, and the tatabba. So how do you connect those two? You know, like the stories of the prophets, and majority of the surahs in the Juzumma are Makki surahs. So they should be able to go through that journey, and then at the end of the day, should be confident to practice their deen, whether it's a school or a college or uni.
Yeah. Shani, anything to add before I come back on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the points you mentioned was actually how do you navigate it? Is it them and us? Is it a dark place? And we always have this emphasis in the madrasa of actually go engage with non-Muslims. Not
very good.
In the sense of go talk about the football game, go talk about the boxing fight, go talk about who's winning Liverpool United, but actually go talk about their families, what they're going through, their friendships, what they're like, their identity issues, what they're like. Because it's not a me and you issue, it's an everyone issue. the cost of living, how is it? It's affecting every family. The breakdown in relationships is affecting my family, your family, and their family. So we're all in these issues together. So actually, go engage with your friends, all the friends in your class, but beyond the football, beyond ISO speed, beyond Sidemen, actually what they're going through in life, their problems, their concerns, and what helps you in Islam will help them as well. So go engage, talk to them, and let's see where this takes us.
Sure. And if I may, it sounds, I mean, I'm very excited about hearing such things, that we have actually institutions within the community who are addressing real issues and not brushing them under the carpet, and are actually making a direct link between the Quran al-Kareem and these issues. Have you guys ever thought about marketing yourselves? Have you guys ever thought about making it a blueprint for other madrasas across the country? Have you thought about networking with other organizations, other madrasas, to say that, look, this is what we're doing, this is our success, this is the real issues? Have you thought about going wider than just one madrasa in one locality?
I think that's Uncle's forte, so I'll leave Uncle to answer that one.
Thank you, Jali. I've noticed Shazad's not putting a lot of input to this with his expertise. But Mabs, again, when I initially started, the community and the management started this madrasa, it's a constant improvement. There's always room for improvement. So we've not reached to a stage. We're too busy trying to develop our own madrasas, and that's a journey of 7 years where we produce Hafizes, we do Islamic studies, we do Quran with proper tajweed and Muharij. But that probably is a long-term vision. But anybody who comes for advice in the town, the surrounding towns, we would love to engage with them and share our good practices, and likewise from other communities share their practices.
Sure. I honestly believe there is a definite need for you guys to maybe to do some networking and get out there. It is a breath of fresh air, like I said, that our institutions are addressing real issues that our children are facing and preparing them. And talking about what our children are facing and preparing them, Shazad, let me bring you in as a parent of children who attend this madrasa. How long have they been attending the madrasa for?
Many years now. SubhanAllah. Now that's going back. I think probably say good 5 or 6 years now.
Oh wow! And of course, you've seen incremental changes in the way they look at things and the way they interact at home with you, and some of the.
They're quite fortunate. I'm quite fortunate in the sense I've got a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, and an 11-year-old, and they sort of progress through the madrasa. And like the eldest now is actually teaching at the madrasa. The
wow!
And so and now the younger one, and she's sort of inshallah aspiring to the same sort of path and direction. So they've seen it, been through it now, and now they're contributing even further with hopefully inshallah taking it.
And what would your advice be to parents who actually have lost hope in the madrasa system?
You have to be patient with it. You have to persevere. We'll always find, it wasn't easy. I had to go through issues with the children, simple things like bullying, sometimes not as motivated. So, that's for me as a father to persevere. And sometimes, the madrasa never necessarily got things right. So I had to persevere, I had to engage, had to support, encourage the kids. So, these institutions are valuable institutions. We've got them up and down the country. It's such a valuable resource for us as a community. And, the people involved in the madrasa are from the community. A lot of them volunteer their time and effort. So it's about what we're going to invest. And that investment is multifactorial. Whatever skill set you have, you will have simple contribution to make, isn't it? So
Yeah.
yes, I might just be a parent. I'm going to support that madrasa by sending my kids, and actually I want them to grow up and nurture in that, and actually take that forward, contribute, become teachers.
Yeah. From your perspective as a parent, Shazad, do your children go to school and then attend madrasa?
So my children are homeschooled, so they
Okay.
sort of have a probably not the same rigid routine in the school setting, but you know they're busy throughout the day with their studies, and
Yeah.
then you know the 5 to 7 madrasa routine.
Okay, so you're unique in the sense that your children are homeschooled and they don't attend a state school or a private school as such. Which brings me to the teacher, Shani. Are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Yep.
Yeah, I want to maybe relate a scenario to you. I was walking past a institution. It was an Islamic institution, and it was clear that the students of this institution, they all wear one particular dress. And as I was walking past them, and there's no names here or no location here, but as I was walking past this group of boys, I heard very colorful language come out their mouth, very colorful language, but they were symbolic and representative and ambassadors to that particular institution because of the uniform. It was very clear they belong to that institution. You must face these challenges because you're not getting people from a bubble into your madrasa. You must face the day-to-day challenges that all our children face who are interacting at school, then they're interacting on social media, then they're interacting with friends, then they're interacting with wider society, then they're interacting with television, then they're interacting with role models, then they're interacting with the popular culture. Where do you start unpacking this in your curriculum or in your approach in the madrasa?
Yeah, like you're saying, they're not. It's not on a blank canvas, and I think a lot of the colorful language is the reason for a lot of my white hairs. But if I had a wish list, it would be if I could spend, or more people spend more time with these young men and talk about these issues, the better. We are restricted by time, no number of hours we can commit and give, and they are exposed to umpteen hours, multiple more than what we can give. So it is a challenge, but then it also is, we're kind of realistic of, okay, this is going to be, rather than a 6 months turnaround, this is going to be maybe a 3-year turnaround. Okay.
Sure.
So we are in it for the long haul. And that's one of the reasons why, we aim to keep the children engaged all the way into their 16s, 17s, and 18s. So as they develop, as their understanding develops, their mind opens up, we can keep filling it in. And, they realize some of the mistakes they made, and now they want to engage and things like this. But we realize it's not a quick turnaround. It's not a blank canvas. And there's a lot of back and forth. We made 1 step forward, 2 step back, 1 to the left, 2 forward. It's all a journey. But, we've come content to that. We've accepted this is the situation, this is the environment, and we're working with that. So rather than saying, we're always failing, we're always messing up, we're realizing actually this is what it looks like with children growing up here.
Sure. Not necessarily, I wouldn't attribute the words failing, messing up, but there is a very strong case, very strong argument for madrasa saying that you will never win, simply because you're up against state-of-the-art technology when it comes to watching very savvy, very 4K videos about rappers, about fashion, about female dominance, about misogyny, about all of these things, and then come through the door to the madrasa, and Mr. Shani sat there, and he's only got 2 hours in an evening, okay, to put this right. Do you feel like you're in sinking sand sometimes?
Yes and no. Sometimes I think, okay, we're making progress, and then they come back the following week and it looks like we're back to square one. But broadly speaking, all the savviness of the tech, of the iShow speeds, of the different groups out there and whatever they're saying, when you talk to the kids, they realize it's sweet poison. That they realize very quickly, and they do sort of clock on. But the problem is they're re-exposed to it. As soon as they leave, they're re-exposed to it. So as long as we can keep showing them the barakah of the values of Islam, how it brings a happy, contented life, how it's going to lead them to have a good relationship with their family and friends, and have real friends, not fake friends, how they're going to feel at the end of the day that they're doing the right things throughout the day, and the other values. You can almost see it in their mind's eye as you're talking to them.
Yeah,
their expressions change.
Yeah,
their expressions change. Their body language changes, and you can see it. But at the same time, as soon as they walk out, everything's knocking them back, trying to get it out of them. Everything. As soon as they leave the doors of the madrasa, there's the phones and the blah blah, social media is knocking them back. So okay, we realize this, and we keep going back, and we keep reinforcing, adding, trying to be creative to address this.
Sure. And I've got a $1 million question for you and Mr. Hussein coming up. With all the good and hard work you guys do, and there is an acknowledgement here that we're almost like the tide is against the community, in the sense that there's a lot of influences out there which are not particularly aligned with the Islamic belief or the Islamic values. My question to you is, or Mr. Hussein, is: do you guys do any outreach work other than the 5 to 7?
Shall I go, Shani, or
go for it? There's $1 million on the line, so you can have it.
would I get the million? No worries. Coming back to the swearing that you heard and etc., the bad the behavior of the children in the madrasas, right? Look, Mabs, you know better than myself and Shani that it's not just the madrasa. Madrasa is just one cog. For a successful madrasa to produce the right characters of children, our future leaders, our future teachers, you need input from the management, from the teachers, and most important is your parents. They have 70-80% of the responsibility. So hence, as well as long-term vision in any institutions, not only do you educate the children, but it's essential that you educate the parents how to become parents and what responsibilities and what are the challenges. So that is one of the things we're looking to have regular meetings.
So do you do parenting workshops?
Yeah, parenting workshops. Because look, Mabs, you go to work in a warehouse, you're lifting weights. You need a course. You need to go on a course, and you need to have knowledge how to lift weights to prevent you from an injury. And the challenge of parents is 100 times more difficult.
Okay, so I'm going to up the stake now to this $1 million question. It's going to go up to 2 million, and I'm going to ask you some real issue questions, because it almost every time I speak to someone from the Islamic institutions, whether it's on radio, whether it's one-to-one, whether it's in other meetings or gatherings, they always want to stay on the safe side of the discussion. Let's talk about outreach. There are a lot of things that happen in our community that require outreach, and I'll give you some examples. Knife crime. Okay, you're not going to get the perpetrators of knife crime coming to a madrasa. Okay, drugs. Okay, you may well be, I may be wrong, but you may well get that, and then they go and behave in that manner. What I find that our institutions are seriously lacking is outreach. And when I mean outreach, is to take the message to them and not bring them to the message. you're on the streets. Your philosophy in your madrasa, your whole ethos of your madrasa is mobile. And you're out there, and you, like on Eid Day, we had a stabbing in Luton, we had a stabbing in Bradford. I would have loved to see institutions, Islamic institutions in the community, to go outreach and find such issues and find such people and to talk to them. I know in some places in Birmingham, some of the ulama, they're doing this, and some ulama are very well known to do this. And I'm saying that probably this is one of the most important facets of any Islamic institution in the community, is the outreach work. What are our thoughts around outreach? And are we talking capacity is the restriction, or is it something that you're working towards, or is it something that you've tried? Where are you in that journey?
Mabs, the thing is, our typical madrasas are aimed at 5 years or 6 years of intake to 15 years. Then the students get into their GCSEs and they need extra time at school. But majority of the masjids, from my experience, and they probably lack the manpower or the imams to have the right skills, or not have enough staff. The age of 15 to 20 is a very crucial age, right? Out there in society. And I agree, we do need to cater for them as well. Sorry, Shani, if you can elaborate on that as well.
No, I think that's something we've not really talked about or discussed about going out there. We did have some discussions about going out to non-Muslims and actually, having open days. Instead of having open days in the masjid, let's go to non-Muslim, predominantly non-Muslim communities and have open days there. But in terms of the youth, interacting with the youth, that's something we probably do need to consider and pencil in. Yeah.
Bringing in Shazad as a parent. Shazad, me and you, we both know as parents, sometimes coming from mom and dad, it never works. Yeah? It's such a dynamic sometimes that you always need the uncle, or you always need the aunt, or you always need the neighbor, or you always need the best friend to say something before the penny drops with our children. What is your support network from maybe from the madrasa or from any other experience you can give or certain examples you can give where you've come across a very challenging discussion or challenging scenario with your kids, and you found that if it wasn't for that support network, you probably wouldn't get through to them on that particular issue. What has been your cushion, your support network to deal with some of these challenges?
I would probably say I've got probably 3 networks, really. I think one is the family, my brothers and sister and their kids, and generally as us as a family. I think friends and the circle. So naturally, my friends are similar age group. They've got similar age kids, similar sort of interests. So that's a natural circle. And then obviously the madrasa and the kids and the teachers that they interact with there. So I think they're all avenues. So if I take a discussion I can have with the kids, they'll have that with their uncle. They'll have that potentially with the teacher. So they'll get different perspective and they'll come back to me with it and say, but Dad, you said this, but what do you think to this?
Sure.
And I think that is important, that they've got these different networks that they can bounce off, and they'll address it in slightly different ways. They'll come to me with it in a particular way. They'll come to their uncle in a different way. They'll come to their friends in a different way. And they're probably touching on sort of the undertone of the discussion here really is about how well we connect to the kids.
How
well we relate to those issues. Yes, we're in an overwhelming climate. There's lots of pressures on it, but actually, how well we connect, but also are we willing to open up those discussions that's sensitive, or we don't want to listen?
Brilliant. We're in our last 12 seconds, guys. Thank you very much for being guests, and no doubt I would love to have you on in another show. Jazakallah khair and Assalamu alaikum. And Assalamu alaikum to all the listeners listening to the Parenting Show on Inspire FM.
Coming up next, Democracy Now!